There are the Ashes Brawlers and the Cultists and the Dusks of the world, and then there's poor Aphelios sitting in the corner with a stick-wielding monkey for company. I mean, you gotta root for the little guy, right? Hey everyone, and welcome to another ProGuides TFT video. Today we're going to be talking about patch 10.19's underrated and undervalued comps and how you can make use of them to climb. Try these comps out, as in the right setting, they can shine. As with every comps list, getting the comp will not guarantee you first place, but it will give you a high enough chance for a top 4 finish, netting you that sweet LP. These comps are flying a bit under the radar, and while not completely uncontested, depending on your region as well, they are easier to play than all the 4-cost reliant contested comps. Don't forget though that positioning, items, and scouting are still your most important tools in this game, working together with your comp in order to give you that shiny first place. In this video, we will talk about each comp, a general playstyle guide including chosen tips, look at items they use, and their positioning. All 3 of these comps are not exactly rare, but definitely not things people force, so their units often go unbought in the shop. Before we dive in, I just want to let you guys know that we have a Discord community and a new subreddit that is growing really fast. We have you to thank for that, and we want to continue building our community and helping you be a part of it. Make sure you check the link in the description below. Now for our question of the day, which do you think is the most underrated comp so far in set 4? With all that said, let's dive right into our most underrated comp for 10.19, and it is Bonky Kong. The monkey is not exactly as versatile as he was last set, but hey, he got his own comp now. Bonk is essentially vanguard-mystic, and it's a heavy reroll comp. Let's get into it. This comp is all about the early game, as most reroll comps are nowadays. The chosen you need to initiate a potential bonk is a Vanguard Wukong, or possibly a Divine Wukong. Any Vanguard chosen is decent as well, since you will be 3-starring Wukong anyway. In the early game, you're pretty strong, using the fact that early Vanguards this set are quite damaging, nothing like the Poppy and Leona of the past. You do not hit the level button at all. I've seen this comp get 1st and 2nd at level 7, though a final push to 8 to round it out is definitely advised. You will be maintaining 50 gold for most of the match, rolling excess to get the following units. Wukong needs to be 3-starred, easier of course if he's your chosen. Garen, Thresh, Janna. For this comp to have any scaling, you need at least 3 of those 3 stars. Don't level too soon after hitting Wukong 3 or you will cut your power spike short. If you're doing well, you can keep slow rolling at 6 for Janna and Thresh. If you're not, you will have to level to fit 4 Vanguards, 4 Mystic. All the same, if you build the correct items and are uncontested, there should be no problem getting to that finish line. If the lobby has a lot of physical damage, especially the top 3, you can add more Vanguards and go for 6, dropping a couple of Mystics. Like in set 3, keeping that choice is a good idea, so save some Vanguards on the bench if you see the lobby going in that direction. The chosen nuances in the comp come in the form of which chosen Wukong you have. If you have a Divine one, you don't have to play Aurelia and can play more Vanguards like Aatrox or a Spirit if you're using Yuumi. With Vanguard Wukong, which is the best, you play 4 Vanguard, 4 Mystic, adding Aurelia and Shen for an even heavier front line. Overall, like all set 4 comps, Bonk has a lot of flexibility, which was not normally seen in hyper-roll 1-cost comps in the past. The chosen options, as well as the big unit pools, spatula items combined, create a wider variety of options than those comps had before. Try it out for some fun Wukong action. Positioning is really lobby dependent with this one. If you see a lot of assassins or shade, you want to position in the sides and upwards for your Wukong to either target the assassins quickly or make mincemeat of their front line and move to the assassins before he gets targeted. If you're facing more traditional backline comps like mages, Ashe, and cultists, you can position like this. Remember that depending on what 3 stars you've made, you can take out weaker units like Garen, Janna, and Thresh for Aatrox, Shen, Aurelia, etc. Items. If you can't make Rapid Fire Cannon, don't play this comp. It's more core than it was on Master Yi in set 3, and that says something. The rest of the items on him can be any 2 of the following: Deathblade, Infinity Edge, Hand of Justice, Bloodthirster. Generally, try to make 1 healing item on him, as he can't really get away from big bursts like the Ahri Bomb, but can heal up from afar. The rest of the items should generally be tanky ones, as this comp with its stats can make really good use of chonky frontliners with Sunfire Cape, Dragon Claw, Morellonomicon for Sejuani, etc. Remember, build RFC. These guys came up for a bit, then were silenced. I mean, they're snipers, so they better be stealthy and all, but no need to try too hard. Anyway, Sharpshooters is a comp that you don't often see in lobbies at the moment, but with a really high ceiling if you get it right. The main problem is that it shares a couple of key units with popular comps, namely Jhin and Riven. Starting with playstyle, this one is really flexible. You have multiple good item carriers for the items Jinx, Jhin, and Riven like, so you can essentially play anything in the early game. Just make sure you keep an a Nicolai and a Vayne around, preferably without items, unless you get them chosen and keep extra copies around. The comp is capped at level 9, so you definitely want to level. No time to idle around slow rolling. You can either rush to 7 and roll down to get Jinx, maybe Jhin or Riven and stabilize, or go straight to 8 and do the same there. It all depends on your health situation. Your carries are multiple and depend on whether you get any of them chosen. If I had to pick between Jhin and Jinx, I would pick Jinx, as she's easier to 3-star, less contested, has a stun, etc. However, if you get Jhin items, what can you do? At level 9, you want to add Azir, as keepers are part of the reason you are a bit harder to kill, like the old rebels. Positioning in general is quite intensive with this comp, and it's a big part of your win condition in the end. The damage is intense, but they gotta be alive to shoot. You generally want your chosen to be a sharpshooter, since, you know, there's only 5 of them and the comp is named 6 sharpshooters. But you don't have to get that chosen really early, unless you find a Jinx at level 5. Always play for strongest board. Ending at 4 sharpshooters with another useful chosen can be just as good. Keeper, for example, will allow you to not have to go to 9, as you can get 4 of them while maintaining the rest. You will die if you mess up positioning here. You can do the default positioning of the pyramid and branch off from there when you need to counter position something specifically. For example, you can move the Jinx to the side and forward, making any assassins trapped behind your current units and going back to the front line to be hit by the sharpshooter AoE like this. Remember to use the Azir soldiers if you have them, to help wall off your carries from wannabe assassins. Itemization is quite flexible here, since you have a choice of 2 carries and Riven uses many items as well. Jinx likes Shojin the best, it's really core on her. Quicksilver is probably a must as well, similar to Ashe, with the 3rd item being any decent attack speed giving one. Guinsoo's is good, Static Shiv is decent, and so is Giant Slayer. The Giant Slayer is better suited for Jhin, however, along with his usual items of Infinity Edge, Last Whisper, and maybe a defensive item. Riven or any frontliner you choose, like Sunfire Cape, Dragon Claw, Ionic Spark for Jinx, Guardian Angel, and the like. Don't prioritize frontline too much or you will lack damage, but make sure you make a couple items. That's it for 6 sharpshooters. It's even less contested than Bonk, but it can be hard finding Jhin sometimes. Do try it out, and if you see many cultists in the lobby, definitely itemize Jinx and maybe make more frontline items. This one is not exactly underrated, but keeps losing popularity for some reason. We want to make sure it keeps giving you elo. Some top rankers in Korea currently almost one-trick this comp, especially the Aphelios version, even after all the nerfs. This comp requires any Moonlight chosen at the beginning, but that chosen can't always be your carry. The good news is that due to the Moonlight trait, you can make any unit a carry, and keep the chosen around for the extra trait. Assuming perfect items, the priority in chosen is as follows. Aphelios and Lissandra are definitely the preferable options, but Liss really needs tears and Aphelios really needs swords. If you're getting neither, you might be in some trouble. The early game is really similar to Bonk, as you will be re-rolling to hit all your units. You can slow roll at 5 for Lissandra, or at 6 for Aphelios. The plan is to have your 2 Moonlights at 2-star early on, allowing you in most cases to win streak through stage 2 and most of stage 3. You can use that gold to get to 50 earlier than usual this set, allowing you to start the slow roll early. The best option for a carry will present itself to you through the items you're given, and we will discuss them in the item section in a bit. The Moonlight comp starts leveling fast after you hit your 3-star carry. Don't tarry and greed for a second Moonlight 3-star, but definitely work on it. Even if you're winning, not leveling will set you too far behind. The comp differs depending on which carry you get, but level 8 is the goal to get a decent comp around your carry. You will gravitate towards brawlers with the Lissandra, giving her time to cast as many times as possible, and towards a more balanced comp with Aphelios, including hunters, brawlers, and the like. Both of these versions are classic protect the carry comps. The Lissandra one aims more towards funneling as many enemies as possible in front of Liss to cleave with her spell in a pyramid-like position like we saw previously with sharpshooters. For the Aphelios version, it's much more of a fortified comp, gathering around Aphelios to protect him. Remember to switch things around to fit your lobby better. Itemization is important here to guide you through your carry decision. Lissandra has to have blue buff and Relinomicon. The 3rd item does not matter too much. You can go full offensive with Rabadon's or Jeweled Gauntlet, or defensive with a Hextech Gunblade, a Quicksilver, or a Guardian Angel. Aphelios is really similar to Jinx that we saw earlier. We want him using his spell as much as possible, so Shojin is a must. Guardian Angel is good too, since his turrets persist through the res animation, and a Guinsoo or Static Shiv are also fairly strong to give him attack speed or a good extra source of damage in Shiv's case. Proper itemization is really important for this comp, especially the 2 mana items. Both units are leagues weaker without blue buff and Shojin respectively. Hope this helped. Remember, these comps are not non-existent and are all quite painful when contested. Check the lobby regularly, but do go for them if you get the proper chosen early. That's it for this video. We will be uploading every week on Wednesday and Sunday. Thanks so much for watching, and make sure to check out our TFT content on YouTube and our high elo coaches on ProGuides.com. If you have any feedback for us, comment below and we will be happy to read what you have to say. Now get out there and farm some LP using the comps you saw here today.